Hi, I'm Haylley Pittam, and with me today is Dom Gili. I am so excited to be speaking with him today because he is all the way from Australia, and we are going to be talking about how he got into the aqua industry and his company, Aqua Fitness Online. So welcome, Don. Don.
Hey, thanks, Haley. How are
How-
you?
I'm fine. How are you
Good.
doing in the lockdown?
Yeah, we're good. I'm loving lockdown. I've had a really good time. I've spent the last 3 months dancing a lot in my kitchen, as some of you would have seen probably. On Zoom, we were doing a Zoom dance party every morning at 9:30, but I had to stop that because I wasn't getting any work done. And I've spent the rest of my time really being productive because I'm rebuilding my Aqua Fitness Online website. So it's getting
Brilliant.
renovated and it's going to come back bigger and better than ever. So stay tuned for a release date in the next month, I reckon.
Yes, that's amazing. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, it's good.
So, I have a lovely icebreaker. If someone meets you at a party, what do you tell them that your job is?
Well, I have a few hats. So I run and own my own swim school. So I tell them, I keep it real basic. I say I teach swimming and I teach aqua fitness. So, and I intentionally use the words aqua fitness rather than aqua aerobics or water aerobics because, the whole idea is that the focus on the fitness. And I think that kind of changes the way people perceive. I think if in the past, when I've said aqua aerobics, people immediately defer to old people with grey hair bouncing around and talking. If I say
Yeah.
aqua fitness, then it kind of piques their interest as to what the difference is. It gives me an opportunity to talk about what I do.
So interesting that how you've turned the name or how you've rephrased it. Same thing,
Mm.
just you've
Yep.
rephrased that. And do you then get
Yeah.
different approach after that? What's their kind of questioning that or the kind of comments that they say?
I think they're interested because I lead with swim school, like swim teaching, and
Yeah.
then talk about aqua fitness. And it's probably similar with your experience. A lot of people don't even know what it is besides the image of the old people in the water talking and laughing. But I always think it's a great, like, if someone asks, it's a good opportunity then to spruik how amazing aqua fitness is.
Yeah.
So they usually regret asking because I'm just like, I love it, I love it. It's so hard, blah, blah. Have you ever done it? And I just drill them with, any experience that they've had. And then it usually ends with me giving, inviting them down to my class and challenging them to keep up.
And
And some have joined in and some haven't. Yeah.
I was going to say, how many have taken up your offer?
Yeah. I've had some friends, and like because they've challenged me on, I can't be that hard, can't be that hard. I went, okay, Monday morning, 9:30, come
Be
down.
there, come down
Yeah,
to the
and,
class.
and of course, you always get the same response. I could not have imagined it would have been that hard. I'm exhausted, or I didn't make it halfway through. Yeah, I always get a positive response. I know, aqua fitness is all about selling it in marketing. Even when you're teaching, I always think it's all about education and marketing. You've got to tell them the benefits because that's your marketing program,
Yeah.
and you've got to communicate and educate people about why it's so good and how to do it properly. Because
Yeah.
if people know how to do it properly, then it sells itself. The water environment
Yeah. Yeah,
resistance in every
definitely.
direction. Now,
Yeah.
you have to get a workout, even, just moving and walking in the water. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so do you get any of the parents from your swim school coming to your aqua classes?
Fortunately, I love my swim school, and it's a perfect setup because it's a small pool. It's really warm, um, and it's small though, so it's only 4 meters by 5 meters,
Okay.
and it's 1.2 max from point 0.9 to 1.2 meters. So unfortunately, I can't teach aqua fitness there. So I teach aqua
Oh,
fitness at other pools in the area, but yeah, I can't use that pool for aqua fitness. That would be my dream come true.
wouldn't
To
that
have
be great?
have a private pool that I have access to,
Yeah.
where I could teach swimming and aqua fitness. I'd be in heaven.
That
Um,
would be awesome. I mean, it'd be really good if you could then like, have the swimming lessons and then follow on with the aqua class and the parents can then
oh, well, it'd be
yeah.
perfect because we have swimming lessons from 9 till 12 and then 3 till 6. Aqua before, aqua in the middle, aqua after. Like, I'd be in heaven. No, so if anyone has a pool in Sydney that they're not using, let them know.
It'll send you a little message your way. Do you want to come and use my pool? You'd be there.
Exactly, exactly. I'm always on the lookout. And you know, the other challenge is that setup's ideal because I've been, you know, teaching for so long, teaching swimming and teaching aqua fitness. That, you know, from a work perspective and making income and wanting that aquatics to be your career,
Yeah.
you know, it's a perfect opportunity to make money because swim schools, you know, swim schools are money makers, right? You've got a captive audience, especially in Australia because it's a cultural experience. Every child has swimming lessons. I'd say 95% of kids growing up from the age of 6 months to 6 years will have been enrolled in a swim program at some stage.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got a captive audience here. It's guaranteed that people are always looking for good swim lessons. Yeah. So, you know, that's where I make my money. And I do, the swim school funds my passion for aqua fitness.
I can see that.
Since 1993, I've been trying to work out how can I make money in this business? I love it. How can I do it and sustain a career?
And still pay your bills.
Still pay the bills, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. Because I had my own swim school with Linda years ago. And when we had our own swim school, we have a curriculum that was implemented by one of the swimmers. So do you remember Duncan Goodhue?
Yes.
The bald guy?
What stroke? Was he a breaststroker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
Yeah, so he got involved with the national curriculum swimming lessons, and he implemented that every child has to leave primary school being able to swim, full stop. But they have, you know, they have difficulties, and there are areas within the UK that children still can't swim. And they're afraid of swimming. Do you have that in Australia? If you have such a big program to get all the children swimming, do you have any pockets where there's children that don't know how to swim?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's tricky because you know it is enforced as a school program, but that's for 2 weeks or maybe 4 weeks a year. So you know, socioeconomic conditions may lead to some kids not having weekly lessons. For whatever reason. So it's good that school programs happen, but, you know, it would be better if everyone was swimming on a weekly basis.
Yeah, no. So what was your stroke? What was your favourite stroke?
So as a breaststroker.
Yes!
Yeah, freestyle and breaststroke. And I was late to squad swimming because I was so shy as a child that my dad always wanted me to go and he's just like, you're always doing well at the school carnivals, and the only person that ever beats you is the only one that goes to squad training, blah, blah, blah. And I resisted until he got fed up with it, and he just went and enrolled me for squad lessons. Because I learned how to swim. I don't know how I learned how to swim, but I never had lessons as a kid. So I think at the age of 12, I started squad lessons.
Did you just see someone swim and just thought I'd copy that?
I used to swim a lot. We used to go to the beach a lot. My auntie had a pool. We used to go there a lot. I think we just taught ourselves. I don't know what happened. So it started natural, and then just went bang. Like loved it. Just took to it. And freestyle, 100 freestyle, and breaststroke were my strokes. Yes. And so. And I saw your interview with Jenny Lynn, and I was crap at backstroke. So it is true.
Yes.
I think if you like breaststroke, you're not good at backstroke.
Yes, completely.
That was I laughed out loud when I was walking on the street listening to that. I went, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. And those who swim backstroke don't tend to like doing breaststroke.
There must be different muscle groups. I bet you if you analysed it, different muscle groups come into play.
So do you get in the water and swim now still? Oh, man. But do you get in the water to do aqua though?
I get in the water to do aqua. I love getting in the water to do aqua. It's funny, I fell out of love with swimming because I was swim teaching so much. And if I had to choose between swimming and aqua fitness, I'd choose aqua fitness every time. Love it.
It's just having
Love it.
something
Love it.
different as well, having a different mindset and
So dynamic.
yeah.
And the intensity levels are varied. I find that with swimming, you know, it's like with aqua, I can push myself to really, you know, increase the intensity and really feel it. Yeah, I love it.
How
It's kind
often?
of like a perfect ideal scenario for me because I love every sport. I think I've played every single sport that I could, but some of them now I can't play because of my knees. So volleyball, tennis. I'm still playing soccer, although I shouldn't be playing soccer. Not supposed to run. I'm not running very much. But I can do all of that in the water. Everything. That's so dynamic. I love it. I love it.
Takes
And then, of course, you know, while I'm doing it, it fuels my creative spirit too, because then I start thinking of routines and how can I make that more interesting? How can I start with that move and get the athletes to do this, but get the grounded people to do that all at the one time. And so now I start thinking about music and
yeah,
so, and you know, I love it.
feeds into one another. Okay, so how did you go from what got you into the aqua industry? What got you from being a swimming teacher to then getting into teaching it on the side?
So it's funny because I was speaking to my son yesterday, who's about to turn 18 in his last year of school,
Oh,
and he's trying to think
wow.
about what he does next year. Does he
Yeah.
work? Go to uni? And he just doesn't know. And I was just telling him my story that when I finished school, I worked in a bank for a year. And my point was, sometimes you don't need to know what you do want to do, but it's good to know what you don't want to do. So I
Yeah.
said, my sister got me a job in the bank because she worked in the bank. I worked at the bank for a year and I went, tick, don't want to do that.
No.
So I quit. Applied for uni. I did a business degree after 2 years. I went, tick, don't want to do business. Don't, not geared for sitting down and studying like that. That's not going to work for me. I got a job while I was trying to work out what I was going to do, I got a job in retail. So I worked in a sports store.
Okay.
I was like, oh, now we're getting there. Something to do with sport. That's
Yeah.
great. So I worked full-time in a sports store, worked part-time as a barman in a nightclub, and then another part-time job in a library. I mean, I couldn't be any more different.
Wow.
One
Wow.
was really noisy. The other one, people were telling me to be quiet.
I can't
um,
imagine you being quiet because you're a very because you've got that personality that if I saw you in a library, I'd be like, he's dancing inside. He's got to be
the, funny,
dancing.
the funniest thing is the other librarians used to have to shush me. They were like, sorry, I forgot where I was. Anyways, but then all that was the process of what do you want to do? Eventually I decided, okay, you know what? I want to go back to uni and do sports science,
Yeah.
filled out the application form. And the first thing on the list, all these qualifications were, do you have first aid? Do you have your swim teaching certificate? Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have that? And I thought, well, while I'm waiting to hear back, I'm going to start on some of these qualifications. So if I don't get in, then I'll be ready for next year. And the first one was swim teaching. I got a job as a swim teacher at a sports center not far from my place. They gave me some shifts on reception. So I was working evenings after I worked at the sports shop. I was teaching on Sunday mornings. And then I think with about 3 days notice, one night I was on reception and the manager came up to me and said, have you ever done an aqua fitness class? I went, no. I said, but I watch them. I said, I watch them from here, from the desk. I'll watch.
That's the
You know,
best. You were the receptionist.
I was reception and swim teaching, and they gave me 3 days. They said, oh, well, Wednesday evening, you're on a reception shift. I'll cover you. I need you to teach that class because someone's quit. And I need an.
Wow.
So that was back in 1993, and I had 3 days to get ready. I said, so what should I do? He goes, come on Monday and Tuesday and do Raylene's class and put together a 45-minute mixed tape because we used tapes back then.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
that
I
was
know.
cool. I'll put together a mixed tape, no problem. I did the Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I'd written out Raylene's program and I just mimicked that completely, and people loved it, and I loved it.
Wow.
You know, like you know when you just go, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to do, and this is what I was telling my son. I was saying it was only until I did what I wanted to do that I knew that was it.
Yeah.
It's so natural. Swim teaching was so natural for me because it was all about education and the water, and that's what I knew.
Yeah, yeah, he came from a good,
Fitness, all about the water and education. My dad's a school teacher, high school teacher, and you know, little did I know, but that led me on a path over, you know, the next 30 years to discover that my true passion, as well as the water, is about education. So, you know, I tried to break up with the aquatics industry so many times. I went off traveling for a few years, came back, got a different job. I worked as a carer in the disability field, like in-home care for young adults with disabilities. I worked for an employment agency for young adults with disabilities. So that was on-the-job training, finding them work and then training them. So, and then I worked for a telecommunications company in their induction training and sales training program. And I loved it. But strangely enough, I loved education, I loved training, but I always went back to the water, always went back. So I would break up with it for a few years and I go, I've had enough of that, and I'd leave. And then I go, while I'm waiting, I'll go teach swimming again, and I'll go teach aqua fitness. And it was only until I could work out how could I make this a career and a full-time income that I stuck with it. And, you know, the last 15 years, all I've been doing is aquatics.
That is incredible. And if anyone's had a journey, I mean, that is absolutely immense. And the fact that you've had...
I even worked as a postman for 3 months.
Oh!
On a bicycle. I used to ride around on a bike.
Oh, wow. So, a librarian, bank clerk. Oh my goodness, the list.
Honestly, talk about lack of awareness. You know, like, who would have thought?
Oh, that's incredible. And having a relationship.
A journey of enlightenment and personal development.
Yeah, completely. And that is almost like, you know, like I say, in a relationship where you've had a breakup and then you've come back to it because your love is still there for it. I mean, in those times where you weren't near the water, did you go and cover classes, or did you literally just go, right, I need a break?
Yes, most of the time it was a clean break. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's such a good learning experience, because especially when I was working for the telecommunication company, I learned so much about curriculum, program development, professionalism, presentation. You know, I was working with some amazing trainers, and the HR team were really good. I learned so much, and I use all of that now, you know, because we're into education and training here in Australia, and we run lots of programs and workshops and organize conferences. Even when I was working with the disability organization that was doing on-the-job training for young adults, the process of the training, like, and the documentation was amazing. I learned so much about how to present myself, because we used to have to rock up for interviews, and we wouldn't take our clients to the interview because we would say to the organization, you're employing our program and this is what we guarantee. We'll come in and learn the job. We'll document the job, tasks analysis and everything. We'll show you that. If you're happy with it, then you can meet the client and we'll show you how we're going to train them. And we won't leave them until they're at 100%. They're working at 100% capacity. And so, you know, like, there's so much learning in there from a training and development perspective.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, every job I took something away from it that I use now in you know.
No, completely.
Yeah. Anyway, it's exciting.
Yeah. So throughout, obviously, your journey, what, in a sense of, you teach group classes for aqua fitness, do you ever do any one-to-ones?
I don't, but I really am intrigued and I want to learn more, because currently I have been asked over many years by clients, and I even had a swim school parent whose child was in a lesson at a centre that I was teaching at, come and approach me after the class because she worked for the local physio, and she said, I've just been listening to you teach, and she says, I love what I'm hearing. and I've got some clients that I want to refer to you. Do you have a business card? I said, I do have a business card, but I don't do any one-on-one work, unfortunately. And
Oh,
it's piqued my interest recently because I'm teaching less because swim school's gotten busy. So I'm not teaching as many group fitness classes. And part of what I hope to achieve here in the industry in Australia is try and bridge the gap between the aqua fitness industry and the aquatic therapy, physiotherapy industry, because there's no connection there. And I think that I think it's a lost opportunity for both, because you know what
I am
happens to
with
clients.
you. I am completely with you on that.
And if
Yeah.
someone's finished therapy with a physio,
Yes.
what happens next? Where do they go?
Yeah.
Is there a path? Is there a connection between maybe someone that they could recommend? So, you know, I'm thinking that if I can somehow help to bridge that gap here in Australia, you know, even starting here in Sydney, and just, you know, I'm sure that there are a few test cases that we can learn from, but I want to hear that story, and then I want to share that story to inspire other instructors to seek out physical therapists, physiotherapists, aquatherapists, so that they can have confidence in the tools to be able to approach and work well together.
So interesting that you say that, because we have that same kind of element of that bridging. We Linda is massively focusing with the therapy side of things, and we are trying to make that bridge connect, where we can get the physios and the therapists to look at us and actually appreciate what we're doing and helping in the water. And then we have our aqua therapy classes, and we have people come into us saying, well, I had 6 sessions with a hydrotherapist, and I then don't have anything else. And you think, well, you know, you're here in my class, I can do so much work with you. But you know how earlier on we were talking about you saying aqua fitness and not aqua aerobics? The thing that we've found here, and I don't know whether it's going to be the same for you guys over in Australia, they are trying, the hydrotherapists and the physiotherapists that we've met, their take on things is they're trying to change the name of what they use, and they are trying not to use hydrotherapy as often, and they're using aqua therapy. So they've changed from hydro to aqua, or they're doing some changes with the name. And then I've then said to Linda, well then, you know, we want to bridge that gap. We can't completely go diverting from aqua aerobics, because they're trying to use aqua therapy as their name of what they're doing.
Branding,
And then we want to try and marry it. So I don't want to completely change the way that we use that name, because there are going to be some people coming from that therapy world that need that aqua aerobics name, and they need that connection, even though it's only a small name. So yeah, I think just, you know, we've just slightly tweaked the name, but that marrying that bridge between the therapy world and the exercise world, definitely.
It's going to happen. It's on my list of things to do. So it's going to get done. I can't tell you when, but it'll get done.
So my next question is, what style of aqua fitness is your favorite? What kind of styles do you like to teach?
Depends when you ask me, where in my career, at what stage you ask me, because I would say I started with athletic training. So, you know, I had a bumpy start. So it was more in the style of real like team sport type training, just that athletic power work. And I got such a good response to that initially from people from all over, from sports teams, from you know, seniors groups, from general population groups, that's all I knew for the first couple of years. And then I started doing more and more, you know, little workshops and conferences and things like that. So then I met someone who I really loved and did her workshop, and learned a little bit about, you know, simple choreography, verse chorus work. And so I started playing around with that, and I love that too because it worked with music, and I love if
I
there's
was about
anything
to
else.
say, you got the music side of you there.
So, that musicology comes naturally to me. So I was just like, wow, this is cool. So now I've got two styles I can use. And then, I learned, started working with equipment because the first center I worked at didn't have any equipment, just kickboards. And then I started working in another center and they had, buoyancy bells and noodles and blah, blah. I was like, oh, wow. So I got creative, got the water, played with them, and then started using them. And I was like, wow, okay, this is another option. And then I started teaching deep, and I fell in love with deep. I was like, oh, this is it. Talk about intensity. If you're looking for athletic training, that deep water was just, I was all over it. And so then I really became a deep water specialist here. And whenever I got asked to do workshops, they would always say, Dom, can you do the deep session? Because everyone else was doing a shallow session, and a lot of people don't like teaching deep.
It's an awesome class to teach, isn't it? I mean, having yourself suspended, hanging from the belt, it's such a great class.
I love it. I love it. And then I started playing around with, I did the gymstick aqua course, and I love gymstick. And so, yeah, I feel like I've gone through all the different, and now I'm back to athletic training again.
I was about to say, what is it that you are now back doing? What are you now enjoying?
At the moment I'm keeping it simple. I'm using Tabata or interval music, and just really simple. I get such good feedback when it comes to that stuff because of the training side. I tell people, that they can monitor themselves now. They can manage themselves time-wise. So people just go for it and they love it because then they can take responsibility for their workout. Whereas when you're doing choreography, they don't know what's coming next, and that's part of the beauty, right? The body and the brain training, because they have to follow choreography. But when we're doing, especially intensity work and interval work and repetitions, they know what they're doing, how to do it. They can just focus on doing it really well, and they can measure it. They can pace themselves within a time frame. So, but speak to me next month and we'll see what it is. That's a bit, that's what I love about Aqua, is that I'm the boss. I can decide what I'm going to do that day. And the participants appreciate the fact that I can specialize in, so many different styles, that every week there's something new. Yeah. I'm not going to do the same old thing. I'm not even going to play the same music.
Yeah.
So
keeping it varied, keeping it fun, motivation.
I'm the first one to get bored, ADHD. I'll get bored before any of my participants will get bored. So it's guaranteed there's always going to be variety, because I'm not doing that again. Some instructors love doing the same thing every week, same music. And some participants love that too, because they know what to expect and they can just do it. But that doesn't happen with me, unfortunately.
So how many classes, obviously before lockdown, how many classes a week were you able to teach for Aqua Fitness?
So the most that I taught, this is at my prime, and when I was only teaching Aqua Fitness. So after I quit my last job, I went, okay, I'm going to go for it. Because I was, towards the end of that job, I knew I was going to give it up. So I started picking up evening classes, weekend classes, just to get a bit of a head of steam going. So that when I did quit and I was available, I already had a foot in. And I got to 22 a week.
Wow.
All Aqua. All Aqua. I was doing nothing else except teaching Aqua. It was amazing. And part of that was that I was lucky enough to get a lot. As soon as people knew I was available, they're like, take my deep class. I don't want my deep class. I hate teaching deep. So I was like, I'll take deep, because, it's not as taxing on the body as it is teaching shallow. Yeah. There's not an expectation that you'll be bang, bang, bang. People know, people that teach. I think people that participate in deep water classes are maybe their IQ is slightly higher than shallow water people. I'm joking. But they get Aqua a little bit better, and I don't know. They always they seem to understand. They have a much better understanding of what it's all about. But yeah, so half of those 22, or maybe like 8 or 10 of those 22, were deep water classes. So
okay.
It was good. I was exhausted. Like some days I had four or five classes a day. Other days I would have two.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
it
just
was
about to
full.
say, how tired did you become at that
Yeah,
point?
it was
Yeah.
full on.
So what did having all those classes, what did that kind of teach you in the sense of discipline as an instructor? What did you have to make sure that you did?
You know what happened? What it taught me was it taught me to really plan. Yeah, so if I was prepared, I would prepare for the week. So I actually took, you know, after having those jobs where I was working full time in an industry that presented really well and had a certain level of professionalism,
Yeah.
I kind of brought that into teaching because effectively 22 classes a week with the travel in between, etc., is close to a full-time job,
Yes,
right? You know, you're doing
completely. Completely.
close to 40 hours with the writing your lesson plans, etc. So, and that's what it taught me. It's like this week's going to be a nightmare if I'm not planned. So I ended up sitting down and writing 8 lesson plans for deep, 8 lesson plans for shallow, and I would do it because my classes were scattered across 3 or 4 centres. I would do one plan each week, whether it be shallow or deep.
Yeah.
That means every 2 months they would rotate and they would still not be the same. I would still add different variations to some of the moves. But, you know, one week I would do a class plan without equipment. The next week I would do it with buoyancy bells. The next week I would do it with noodles. The next week, you know, I'd do something different.
Yeah.
It was never the same. So after 2 months, they would never remember what we did 2 months
Yeah.
ago. And I could just rotate that. And then those classes became programs. So then when I got asked to do my first presentation at a conference,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know what works, what doesn't work. I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. So I'm going to work to my strengths. So it really gave me a chance to analyze what I was doing and then how can I teach that. But I was like, you know, I talk constantly through a class. I'm always monitoring. I'm always giving corrections. I'm always telling people what muscles they're using. I'm always explaining how they can get the best out of the workout. And I'm giving them an expectation. You're like, this is an 8 out of 10 exercise, and I'm only seeing 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
We're going for an extra 30 seconds until I see 8 out of 10, because you're not getting out of this pool telling me the class was easy. I wrote the class. I've done the class. It's not an easy class. So no one's getting out of this pool saying that class. You know, like I was onto it. Like my head was all about Aqua. And so there was no way I couldn't be good at teaching because it was all I was thinking. I was thinking and eating it, dreaming about it.
Did you dream? Did you dream about Aqua?
It was my life and it was great. It was complete dedication.
Oh, yeah.
In that period of, you know, like 1 or 2 years doing that before I got this swim school opportunity, which meant that it was taking up more time. So I had to drop classes. I loved it. And it was, 10 years ago too. So I was much younger, much fitter as well. I could cope.
You're still young, Dom. You're still very young.
Very young at heart. But I don't know if I could teach 22 classes a week. I don't know if I want to teach 22 classes a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dare say the issues I have with my knee at the moment might have something to do with doing tuck jumps and plyometric jumps on the pool floor without a mat.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe.
yeah. That might help. That might add to it. Yeah. So how often did you get in the water to experience the actual class? Did you get in and do it?
I would get in once a month. If I was writing new programs, I would get in once a month and do it.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I was a fine tune machine by that. Like, I was pumping out routines and exercises. So yeah, I would get in. More so what I wanted to do is break things up and stop getting myself out of my head and the way I do things. So I would make an effort at least once a fortnight to go and do someone else's class. Because, when you're doing the same thing over and over, that's all your world gets a little bit smaller. So I kept forcing myself to go and do other people's classes to see the way they might present something.
Yeah, no, definitely.
The downside of repetition is that, sometimes it encroaches on your creativity.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. And there are times where I want to go and do someone's class, but I almost don't want to put them off as well, and I don't want to be in there. I don't want to be there, you know.
I know it's an issue, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because people see you turn up and they go, "Oh no, oh no, I'm so nervous now." It's like, don't be nervous. There was a time when I used to go make sure I was always 5 minutes late, and then I would sneak in because I was so tired of the teacher going, "Oh, I'm going to be so nervous." So
yeah.
I wouldn't even introduce myself before the class. I don't go and say hello afterwards. You know.
What's your favourite piece of equipment to use?
I've been asked this recently because I've just myself and Debbie Godfrey, a Aqua fitness presenter here in Sydney, we did a presentation called Noodleicious.
Noodleicious.
Noodleicious. So it was all about shallow or deep exercises and workouts with a noodle. And I love it because, I get so creative with noodles. Firstly, not a lot of instructors like using it. That's my experience.
Okay.
I don't find that people like to use noodles. So when I turn up to class, they're like, "Oh, can you please use noodles? Because no one's been using them this week." But yeah, of course.
Oh,
love it.
wow.
I find they're really versatile. Firstly, they're inexpensive, so it's easy to get stock of them.
Yeah.
Like, some pool managers or center managers don't want to spend money, but, $6 noodle, they'll spend money on. They're versatile because you can use them for support or you can use them for resistance. You don't always have to hold them in your hand. You can put them under your feet. You can wrap them around, put them between your legs and suspend. So it allows the non-swimmers to do suspended workouts because they feel really comfortable and supported by the noodle. So I just find like I love all pieces of equipment, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be noodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And plus, I got bored with the long noodles, so I started cutting them in half.
Yeah,
So I've got a whole bag of half noodles.
Yep.
And that's a game changer. It's so different to using a long noodle.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different program. And then we use the hand pieces sometimes, and this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I love the noodle, and I did the same thing. I took a full noodle and I cut it half, and then I took a half and I cut that in half. So I had a quarter, and then I've created different classes and workouts with the different size noodles. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love a noodle.
I cut little holes in them so people could slide their fingers through and hold them with open. Yeah, so I just used a knife at home in the safety of my own home, and I cut a little handhold through so people can then have their fingers extended. They don't have to squeeze.
Do you
They
know
can have
what? That reminds me of your postman days from putting letters through post boxes.
That's right. That's about the size of the hole too.
That's what I've got in my...
Maybe that's where I got the idea. Put the fingers through and then they can just do this without gripping. Great.
That's amazing. For anyone that's got arthritis, that's one of the main complaints they have, is that their hands begin to hurt from holding on. I have the HydroFit. So HydroFit do a noodle grip type thing, and they velcro around the noodle, and they are just literally a little handle that they can slide their hand into, so that they've got the noodle attached to the hand, but it's not actually gripping as such. So putting their hand through the little hole in the letterbox noodle idea, that saves buying the extra piece of equipment. So
that's the poor man's version.
Yeah.
And plus it's perfect because when noodles go all old and floppy and lose I just chop those ones up.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go out and buy new ones. Just use the old ones that you're about to throw out.
Yeah. The worst ones are when you can wring it and they come out with water. That's when they need to go to the grave. That's not a good.
When they sit on them and they sink. Okay, that's not a good noodle.
Yeah. Or you see someone when they first start using the noodle, they're like really high in the water, and then over the course of the time, the water's getting closer towards their chin. You're thinking that noodle's not keeping you afloat at all.
That's waterlogged.
So what have you experienced within the time that you've been teaching, and obviously on and off, what have you noticed that has been the difference within our industry?
Oh, goodness. Within the aquatics, aqua fitness industry.
Yeah. What have you noticed is different now compared to when you first started?
I suppose there's far more specialty programs now. So there's more training options. There's more suppliers, training organizations. And, you know, like I would never have heard of the A.R.E.A's arthritis program. I would never heard of your aquanatal pre and post program, Gymstick, you know, Aquapol. So I suppose the innovations, the fact that people are, companies are willing to start investing money in programs, specialty programs, or, you know, big dollar equipment. That would be the latest. I think that our industry here is really highly regulated. So everyone's always been qualified. But, you know, I would say that there's a little bit more professionalism now in the way people approach. But from that perspective, I feel like we've still got a lot to do as far as educating pool managers, group fitness managers, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
what's your
innovations in the specialty programs and equipment?
What's your management side like over there? Yeah.
Needs work.
Do they?
We need. Yeah, I don't think there's an appreciation at that level unless the manager or the group fitness manager has taught Aqua themselves. There's not much of a, you know, my experience is that 9 times out of 10, the Aqua program is more of a nuisance than anything else.
Oh, well, we have similar over in the UK. So, you know, we do want to put more emphasis on the management understanding, especially when you do have those ringing noodles full of water and you go to them, can I have some new kit, please?
As they're rolling in, you know, like 10 new treadmills, they go, oh, no, we don't have any money. I go, oh, I could see some money up there in the gym. So I'm asking for $6 noodles. Give us a break.
Yeah.
But it's all about education. So that's part of what I want to try and achieve now in Australia with the new Aqua Fitness Online is to build a real community and to build education so that not only are we going to be dealing with instructors and supporting them with resources and education, is to make contact with the decision makers within the industry and give Aqua Fitness a higher profile. Yeah. And, you know, greater appreciation, because, you know, there are a lot of centres that are doing a really good job and making a lot of money through Aqua Fitness participation, you know, like some centres have 60, 70 people rocking up. Yeah. They're all paying customers. You can't get that. Depending on the size of the pool, you may not be able to get 67 people in your group fitness studio. So, you know, a little bit of respect. That's all I'm asking.
No, I completely say that as well here, and it is interesting to know that even though you're on the other side of the world, we've still got that similar battle to try and fight against. And you know, aqua classes are full. Aqua classes are always full. There's a waiting list, and you've got these people that are coming week in, week out, new people wanting to do it, but they can't because there's no space left in the classes. And yet we still get looked upon as being a lesser fitness form.
So, and this is, you know, like also in some of the jobs I was involved in basic marketing of programs and things like that, the training programs. Yeah. And to me, you know, as soon as you say that, I see that as an opportunity. If I was a group fitness manager or a centre manager, and I thought, I've got a wait list of people that want to do a fitness class, let's get on to them. Let's offer them a free session in the gym and say, it's on the basis, thanks so much for going onto our wait list. We can't wait to include you in our Aqua program. But until then, how about you get a complimentary session with a trainer in the gym, and they can maybe write you a simple program. And if you like that, then maybe that's something that you can do as well as Aqua Fitness. See, that just seems like an amazing opportunity to me, not an inconvenience. But so often I see Aqua participants or the needs of what we do to be a hindrance rather than. So yeah, it's interesting. But you know, I'm happy to offer free consultations to any group fitness manager that might be listening in, because you know, it's all about perception, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm happy to talk
so
to any of them as well. Like,
I agree.
just slightly open the door to the aquatic world, not just look
Mhm.
at it as swimmers or swimming and lessons, look at it as the fact that there is so much more to offer for them as well.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Mhm.
So, with your Aqua Fitness Online, the website is imminently going to be launched, the new one. So, what do you want to give a bit more of an information about what's going to be on there?
I would love to. So the Aqua Fitness Online will be a subscription service, and we'll have two levels of membership. One membership will be for the participant or the aqua lover or an instructor. They're going to be 45-minute classes, you know, from start to finish non-stop. And it will simply be for someone that might want to work out, because currently we sell through Aqua Fitness Online, the current version, we sell one-off videos, workout videos from start to finish. Some of them are instructional and educational, and others are just complete workouts. So this membership, this level of membership will have a workout library, and in that workout library will be shallow water workouts that specialize, you know, might be one's called Aqua Cardio, another one's a deep water workout called Deep and Dynamic. So, you know, you could do all of those, or you could repeatedly watch the same one and work out to the same one. You might do all the shallow and leave the deep. So the idea is that someone can either learn from the videos and the instruction that's given,
Yeah.
or they might just put their phone or their iPad by the pool and work out on their own or with friends in their own pool. So that's that workout library. The next level of membership will be, it'll include that library as well as another library that just has class segments, that people can look at the different ideas for for warm-up workouts. They might look at a class segment that specializes in cardio workouts or strength workouts or stability workouts. They might be shallow with equipment or shallow without equipment. Could be deep water workouts with a belt, without a belt, using different equipment. And basically the idea behind it is that they could eventually just find the ones that they love and favorite them, so that those workouts could, you know, a 5-minute warm up, 3 10-minute class segments and a cool down, or 4 segments and a cool down. That might be a 45-minute class. So the idea is that sometimes people don't want to watch a whole 45-minute video, but they might see something that says noodle workouts and go, I'm going to watch that 10-minute video. That will be my inspiration for this week's classes. And then next weekend, they might go, I'm going to look at the cardio blast workout. That 12-minute video will be my inspiration. You know, they might learn something. Because sometimes it's just a short workout video is better.
Yeah.
You don't, you know, you can just focus on one thing and learn and get some teaching tips from it. So it depends. And there's also going to be another library that's available to the top level of membership. That's going to be just teaching tips. So it's where me or another instructor just talks through the philosophy behind a movement, or some teaching techniques, and, you know, talking about contraindicators or contraindications, that potentially safety risks, and, you know, so, you know, it might be slow motion video where people talk through just something, a little snippet, or it might be an equipment review or anything. But yeah, I think that they're on social media, they seem to be my most popular videos, is when I actually provide education behind a single movement and talk
Yeah.
it through. And that's where people really go, oh, wow, I never got told that, or I didn't know that, or I forgot about that and I don't talk about that anymore. So, yeah.
Fantastic. That's so exciting. And
Yeah.
then from there, they can then keep up their, you say C's in Australia. Yeah, ours is
That's right. Yeah. So,
CPDs.
so it'll be a monthly membership, but there'll be no contract. So they won't be locked in. They can just view for a month. But if they're the top level member, then they'll get discounts on CEC lessons. So here in Australia, we have Fitness Australia that regulates the industry.
Yeah.
And you need 20 points every 2 years to
Yeah.
re-register.
Yeah.
And so I'll have some CEC programs on there that people can purchase, do their education online, submit their assessments, and then they'll get sent a certificate with CEC. So, you know, the challenge here is, unless you go to a live workshop, in the past anyway, unless you go to a live training day or conference, you can't get continuing education points. If you want to do online stuff, usually aqua instructors will go and do something like how to swing a kettlebell, or, you know, how to do yoga, because that's the only CEC online programs they can find. So hopefully this, when we relaunch with the CEC programs, they'll be able to do relevant ongoing education that is specific to what they're doing, rather than just paying to do anything just to have enough points to re-register. So hopefully that's a good option for people.
That's amazing. That's going to be so good. And because we call them CPDs, so they're the same things. We have to get 20 points as well. So it's a good idea to use this time to transfer things onto the virtual world.
Exactly.
The website is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. And on top of that, Claire Barker-Hemmings, so Claire Barker-Hemmings is based in Melbourne, and we work together a lot, and we're put together a virtual aqua certification. So the lectures that we used to do live are now, we've prepped them so that we have set it up so we can do it virtually. So we'll have a Zoom conference call with new instructors. They'll do the theory sessions via those virtual sessions, and then we'll do the prac sessions later in the year when the pools reopen. So yeah, we've got to use this technology while we're in this situation. And Claire's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes on that program. So we're both excited to get that out. We start in July, on the 18th of July.
That's my birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'll have a drink for you.
Thank you. Please do. Yes.
Yeah, so we're doing two Saturday afternoons, July 18 and July 25. And then we'll have a full 8-hour, like a full day training with the practical sessions later in the year.
Fantastic. It is going to change the way we do our courses. But that's an amazing way of adapting to this current climate, especially when we don't know when we can get back teaching.
There's no stopping us, Haylley.
No. That brings me nicely into the like ending question that Linda likes to add.
Whoa,
and that is, when you get to a point of retiring, which we will never really do, let's be honest, what would you like to be known for?
Can I tell you one thing? I've been thinking that last 3 months in lockdown is kind of like, feels like what it might feel like when I retire.
Yeah.
This is kind of like an early retirement. I love it. Although I was working a lot, but I was doing stuff I love, so it didn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So what would I be remembered for? So, look, I suppose the thing. What would you say about me? If you had to use words to describe me, what would you say?
I would definitely say that you're going to be remembered for being one of the most fun, energetic male aqua instructors out there. But I also love the fact that you're driven by the education side. So I think the education side is definitely your bag for that. But I don't want to obviously put words into your mouth. So.
No, that's great. I just want to make sure we're on the right pace. Because if I had to say one thing, you know, for me, even when I'm teaching, every person is a human being. You know, like and I like, if I can always think of people as individuals and humans first, and then aqua participants second. Everyone's got a backstory. So it was always my goal when I was teaching a lot to really try and find the best in people and to make a connection with them.
Yeah.
Because I always remember when I started swim teaching, the lecturer said, look, kids are really little. They're really primal still, you know, like they're not complicated. They may not remember what you say at the end of the class. They may not even remember what they did or what they learned, but they will always remember how you made them feel. So if they have a good experience, they might not remember your name, but when they see you, they'll smile. If they had a good experience.
I love that.
And that's, and you know, like I've always then been able to apply that to everything I do as far as training and education, because it's
Yeah.
true, right? I've been at swim school. The kids walked through the door, seen the teacher that they had last week, started screaming, turned around and ran out. And that's the perfect example of they remembered how they felt when they saw that instructor. They might have had a really poor experience, and it might not have anything to do with the instructor. The instructor might have done the wrong thing, but it might have just been something that switched on in the fear and in the pupil. But that was a perfect example of that is the flip side of that's how that instructor made that kid feel. And as soon as he saw him again, he didn't want to borrow him. So, and it's the same. And that's why I always think music works really well in a class, because you can use that to make people feel good. Because if you do a little bit of choreography, that's a little bit of fun. You know, like if I do Grease Lightning choreography, as soon as the music starts playing, they'll be like all smiles, you know, and it'll be a good aqua workout. But the aqua workout sometimes gets lost because it's so much fun. But I'll always leave that to the last song before we do our cool down, because I'll finish with something. So talking about how people feel and the connection and just making people feel good, even if they were horrible at aqua, when they got out, just making an effort to say, that was awesome. You did so well. How did it feel? How did you feel? I don't have to say you did really well, because they may not have. I go, you know what? Next time you come, that exercise will be much easier next week. Or from experience, I've been teaching for a long time. It usually takes people 3 or 4 weeks to get good alignment when they start teaching and when they start exercising in the deep. So just always focusing on exercise is supposed to make you feel good, right? The happy hormones are supposed to kick in. You want people to go out and out of the pool and feel good about themselves so that they can come back. Because if they're only coming back because they like the music or they like the instructor, that's great. That's enough for them to want to come back and exercise more. And, you know, I've done my job. So connection and feeling good. And if anything else, solid leadership in the industry here, because there was a time when Aqua was kind of out of favor within the fitness industry. And so, you know, I worked really hard to work with the leading organizations to get it back on the map, back presenting at conferences and things like that, and building that sense of community, trying to rally the troops behind me so that everyone put pressure on the organizations to say, hey, Aqua is really important and we are part of the fitness industry. So building that sense of community and connection within the group is maybe, hopefully that will be my legacy.
No, I think it definitely will be. And the music man, you know, the fact that you are you are so into the music. I mean, I've seen pictures of you wearing the Aquaman t-shirt. So, you know, you've got that side of being known as the Aquaman in Australia.
Superhero.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's been absolutely awesome talking to you. Well, I'm going to say goodbye because we've got a day ahead of us, but you've got nighttime ahead of us. So,
I can have dinner.
Yeah, go and have dinner. Have a lovely evening, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Good to see you.
Bye.